I want to speak to you, the business owner, the person that has that entrepreneurial drive, that spirit inside of them that won't stop, who has achieved incredible success. Looking at what you've created as a business, you look back to 10 years ago and you say, I can't believe I'm where I'm at. You recognize that God has done something for you that you could have never done on your own. And you're just in awe, inspired by what you've been inspired to create. You've paid the price. You've gotten the rejections. You've made the tough offers. You've made the hires. You've turned people away. You've poured your heart, your soul, your tears, your dollars into this business. And yet there's this part of you that feels like something's missing and you're not experiencing that high level of fulfillment like you have in your own business, for whatever the reason is. It may be because of your marriage or the lack thereof. It may be because of what's going on with your family, whether that's your aging parents or your siblings or your own children or your grandchildren. Or maybe it's your health and your fitness. Maybe it's just that thing inside you that just feels like, will I ever be enough? Can I ever grow to the full potential of what I know I'm capable of becoming? Or maybe it's your spirituality, your relationship with and your connection to God. There's something inside you that is just dying and you don't know what it is, because if you did, you would have taken care of it by now. That's what you've always done. You are a business owner. You solve someone's problems and you get paid in direct proportion to your ability to do that. And yet you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, why can't I take care of my own stuff? I've read the books. I've paid coaches. I've gone to counseling and therapy. I've brought in consultants. I've done everything I can do to get the help that I need. And yet there's something missing. There's this version of myself that's on the other side of this huge Grand Canyon-sized chasm. And I know who's over there. I see that future self. I am inspired to do whatever it takes to cross that chasm and embrace who I know I'm meant to be. And yet I have no idea how. There's not a helicopter that's going to take me over there. There's not a rope bridge. And if I even think about stepping into that void, the fear is far too great. Now, if that's you or someone you know, keep watching or share this video, because this is for you. My dear friend, mentor, and business partner, Nick, shared this with me about me. He said, Andrew, you cannot become the victim of your dreams and desires. And at first I didn't know what that meant. And as I unpacked that and let it sit with me, I realized that not only do I have dreams and desires for my business and my nonprofit, but I have dreams and desires for me, of who I know I am meant to be and what I can do for this world. As I'm sure you have that calling and that yearning and that deep desire as well. And the challenge is we can become a victim of that dream, of that desire. We can be so just handicapped and so debilitated by that void between where we are and where we want to be, that the thought of crossing that chasm puts us into a state of just debilitation, and it stops us from moving forward. That's a scary place to be. I've been there. I go there sometimes every single day. Have you been there before? You know what I'm talking about? And when we get so freaked out by that gap, the gap that is, separating us from where we're at today, from where we dream and desire to be, then we begin to focus on that. And I'm sure you've heard it said before that what you focus on expands. And as we continue to focus on that gap, it tends to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the void gets thicker and deeper and scarier. Here's what I invite you to do. I invite you to look back. Look back to where you were, maybe 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, maybe it was last year. Look back to that point where you were on the other side of the gap at that point. And looking at where you are today seemed absolutely impossible. Would you have ever been able to believe that you are experiencing the success and achieving at the level you're achieving at today when you were that previous self? What was it that helped you cross that chasm? I want you to actually pause this video and write down, or if you're listening on the podcast, press pause and write down, what was it that helped me get to where I'm at today? Because even though this current chasm between where you're at personally and where you know you can be, even though it seems impossible, if you can bring that same model of success that you brought previously to today, then you can do it again. But you can't become a victim of it. You've got to be able to recognize that where you're at today was where you prayed to be in the past. And when we become victims of that future self, of that dream and desire that we have over there on the far side, then we don't appreciate the present. We're not able to live in the moment and get grounded in all the blessings that God has given us today, the relationships that matter so much, the children that you do have, the employees, the monies, the debts. Debt is a blessing. You have the debts maybe because you earned the right to have them. And they're helping you move forward. They're giving you leverage to do things that you would have never been able to do without the opportunity to have those debts in the first place. So, are you a victim of your dreams and desires? Are you a victim of this future self, scared to death of what it might mean to leave this life without having become all that you know you were created to be? That is a scary place. It's a place of scarcity. It's scarcity, right? It's not coming from a place of hope and faith and love, trusting that you can do it again. So step one, go back to where you were 10 years ago or a year ago, wherever that might be, and identify what was it that helped you get here. And when you're here, instead of focusing on this gap between where you're at now and where you want to be, ground yourself in gratitude. Look at this journey and see the lives that you've been able to impact and who you've become. And just rest, okay? Just slow down. Accept you're here and now and look around. Smell the flowers. See the beauty in where you're at today. And when you do that, you won't freak out about this huge gap of where you want to go in the future. You can see the good. You can see God's hand in your life. And if you're not able to do that, and if you're so stuck, then I want to spend time with you. There are very simple methods that we use. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. It's called mental and emotional release. There are very simple things that we can use to get you out of this place of unstuck. No one should ever be a victim to anyone or anything, including that future self, including your current habitual thoughts and emotions. We can release those. We can get that place of freedom where you used to be when the whole world was an open canvas of what you could create. When as a brand new entrepreneur, you were willing to take the risks and you had nothing but faith and you felt free to be and do whatever it is that you wanted so you could have a life that you never could have imagined previously. Let's get you back to that state. And when we can get you back to that state of being, then we can begin to do the things that maybe you feel like you can't do. And we can have awareness around what it is that's holding you back. And we're going to get you into a place of power. It's that place where Indiana Jones was able to take the first step into the void and watch the path unfold before him. It's what allowed Peter to walk on water as Jesus commanded him to come to him on the water. It's what allowed you to do it originally. You've always been someone that's been able to see things that others haven't, that have taken steps into the darkness and have the light paved one foot after another. We can do that again. I believe in you. When I look at my coaching clients in the eyes, I don't have past stories that I recount and recall over and over again. All I see is the potential for their future. And I see that for you. Every human being, Aristotle said, is bred with a unique set of potentials that yearns to be fulfilled as surely as the acorn yearns to become the oak within it. You have that in you, and I believe in you. And if you don't believe in you, that's okay. God believes in you. And write on my belief, write on God's belief in you, and let us pull you forward to take those steps that you've been able to take in the past. It's time. And if you're thinking like, I don't know if I have the energy to do this again, don't worry. It's a lot easier than you're making it out to be. I know how to do this for people. And if you don't know what's missing or how you got here or why you're a victim of this dream and desire of this future self of who you can become, I got you. Let's spend some time together. It's very simple. All you need to do is click on the link in this podcast or this video, and we can spend 30 to 60 minutes together, and I will pour into you, and we will pay the price. We will do whatever it takes to get you across this chasm. But before we do, we're going to get grounded in what you have now. Appreciate the beauty of everything that God has given you. You deserve it. And if I say that and it doesn't resonate, and you don't have that like feeling of, yeah, I do deserve it, that's okay. If you're thinking, Andrew, you don't know me. Well, that's fine. But I'm going to help you know yourself, and I'm going to find out what's inside. It's up to you. Are you willing to take that first step? Or are you going to stay a victim of your dreams and desires? It's your choice. I know what I would choose if I were you, and I am you. I am that business owner. I do see that chasm, and I want to take the right people with me because I'm not going alone. I want to go with you. What about you? You ready?